All right, hello everyone. We're live a couple minutes early, so I'm just gonna hang out and wait for people to come on in. If you're here now, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat if you would like. All right, hello everyone. We're live. Oops, sorry about that. And as well, just while we're waiting for a few more people to trickle in, if you want to get ready for the practice part, so we're gonna have a little chat first and then do about a half-hour practice together. So to prepare for the practice, you need a yoga mat, or you can also practice on a carpet or a thicker mat today if you like, because all the poses are going to be restorative, lying down or seated poses. And then you also need a nice pillow or a cushion, one or two, whichever you prefer. And if you're a bit tight in the hamstrings, you might want a strap or a belt or a scarf as well. So if you would like to get that now, if you're one of the people that's here early, can go ahead. And for the people who are here now, thank you so much for joining. I'm excited to do this webinar today, and hopefully afterwards you're going to have a really nice sleep this evening on Sunday evening to be ready for the week. I'm curious as well where people are from. If you want to put that in the chat. I know we had some people from Spain attending today, and I think we usually have people from all over the world, so it's always interesting to see where people are coming from. Hello, Sylvia. Thank you for being here. It's always nice to get to do these online webinars because people come from all over the world. It's always very exciting. When the time zone allows, of course. Sometimes it does not allow. All right, so we're just 5 o'clock now, so we'll get started a little bit of the introduction chat, and as people trickle in, they can catch up, and of course we'll be ready for the practice. And this webinar will also be available for replay, so if you need to jump out at some point, or if you do miss the webinar, I suppose then you already know because you would be watching it on replay. But yeah, this will be available for replay, and I'll send out the link via Meetup. All right, so today we're talking about sleep. And there are many, many ways that yoga can help with sleep. So a little bit about me, I used to be a terrible sleeper. Well, no, let's go back even further. I used to be a great sleeper. I slept through the fire alarm, which is a story that my family loves to tell. And then when I was a teenager, I just became a worse and worse sleeper. And the doctor thought, oh, this is just a phase. All teenagers are bad sleepers. This will pass. And of course, it did not pass. And I tried all these different medications, and none of the medications worked. Or they would work temporarily and not long term. And it wasn't until I started doing yoga and meditation every day that I started to sleep better. And it wasn't instantaneous, so it was, it was still up and down, up and down. Some nights I would sleep good, some nights I still would have terrible insomnia. But what started to happen is slowly the nights where I slept good got better and better and better, and the nights where I had insomnia got less and less and less. And I really believe that this is from a yoga and meditation practice and just being able to better understand how my body worked and functioned individually. So there are a whole lot of ways that yoga can help with sleep, but we only have an hour today, and I want to make sure we get a nice juicy practice. So we're going to actually talk about the Ayurvedic way that yoga views sleep. And Ayurveda is the sister science to yoga, or rather the science where yoga originated from. So Ayurveda started in India. We don't really know the exact date, but around 3,000 years ago, so a long time ago, and is developed and still practiced in India today. And the way that Ayurveda views the body, I suppose, or views your disposition, is there are 3 different doshas. And so each person has all 3 doshas within them, but most people have one or two dominant doshas. And the doshas are Vata, Kapha, and Pitta. And insomnia means that you have an imbalance in the Vata dosha, or that's usually what it means. And characteristic Vata signs are that your Vata is out of balance, is insomnia definitely, restless sleep, anxiety if your mind is always racing, you might be fidgety or twitchy, and just kind of feel foggy and tense and tight. So those are kind of some of the signs that your Vata dosha is out of balance. And the goal with Ayurveda is to bring all three of those doshas back into balance. So we can tailor our yoga practice to the Vata dosha to calm that Vata dosha so that it can go back in balance and your body can begin to sleep again. So there are a lot of different ways that we can that we can help to balance the Vata dosha. So many people that I work with that have trouble sleeping are so frustrated they can't sleep because they have so much that they want to do, and then they're tired during the day and then they can't do it. And that's very typical Vatas. And I definitely have a Vata mind. There's always so much I want to do, which means my mind is racing before I go to bed, and then I'm frustrated if I can't sleep. So that is very, very typical. And because the Vatas are often drawn to a more active yoga practice, they want to get a workout or build their muscles while they're practicing yoga. And so I'm going to advise you to, especially from 4 p.m. onwards, not to do any arousing activities. So not to do an intense workout. Going for a walk is fine. Doing a gentle yoga practice is fine, but not doing, for example, an Ashtanga or Vinyasa flow class, not going for a run. And that you want to keep this in mind for your mind as well. So not watching a scary movie, not reading a really intense book, anything that's going to arouse your stress levels, even in a good way. You want to not do that after 4 or 5 p.m. every day as we prepare for sleep. The next thing that really helps Vata is to have a routine. And I hate having a routine, but now I have one as best I can. Of course, life happens and you need to adapt to that. But I now have a routine as best as I can, and that really helps me to sleep. And this is something that's often recommended by doctors in sleep hygiene when they talk about sleep hygiene. And I had tried this when I was younger and it didn't work for me because I hadn't combined it with also calming my stress response. So you really need both of those things. But having a routine can really help. It removes the amount that you have to think about. So I know, okay, it's 9 p.m. now, I'm going to start my bedtime routine. I'm going to have a shower, I'm going to have a hot tea, I'm going to do my bedtime yoga, I'm going to read a relaxing book. I'm not going to look at my phone, I'm not going to look at social media. I'm not going to read the news. That's a big one for me. With everything going on in the world right now, reading the news can be very stressful. So I'm not doing any of that after around 4 or 5 p.m. And then I have, of course, the 9 p.m. onwards bedtime routine to get ready. And I have a nice morning routine as well. So I know a lot of people with insomnia, maybe you're up till 4 or 5 a.m., you finally get to sleep, you wake up, and you feel groggy and not good, and you want to get out of bed, so then you sleep more, or you're forced to get up and you're groggy. So I like to have a morning routine as well. Again, I don't look at my phone right when I get up, but I like to listen to music or an audiobook, slowly get up, perhaps have a shower, do my yoga practice, have breakfast. So, of course, your routine needs to fit into your life, and you may not want to have 2 yoga practices a day, which is totally understandable. But just thinking about how can you make a morning and evening routine that can be very pleasant for you, and so that you don't have to think about it just when you get up. You know this is your first hour of what you do, being awake, and before bed, you know these are the last 2 hours, for example. Before I go to bed, this is what I'm going to do each night. And I think that including, if you're having trouble sleeping, then perhaps including a yoga practice similar to what we're going to do today in your before bed routine can be very helpful. What also happens with some people is, especially if you're working at a desk job, is you might have some pent up energy during the day, and that could also be keeping you awake at night. So if you're not very active during the day, then you should definitely think about adding something active in the morning or early afternoon of your day. So it could be a yoga practice, it could be a vigorous walk, it could be a swim in the sea, anything like that, really, whatever brings you joy. So just to recap here, we really want to think about routine. We want to think, oh, what did I say first? Oh, yeah, we want to think about routine. We want to think about a calming yoga practice. And also we want to think about what we eat, which is what I'm going to talk about now. So to pacify Vata, you want to eat warm, nourishing foods. And this is especially true before bedtime. And I know it's summer now, so you might think, oh, it's a great time to have salads and smoothies and ice creams and all that. And that's fine, but just try to keep that to a minimum. Having perhaps a curry, some cooked vegetables, even a stir fry, dishes like that that are easy to digest will really help. Digestion symptoms are often a sign of Vata, so if you're feeling gassy or bloaty, or if you have kind of symptoms of IBS, you want to eat things that are really easy to digest. Cooked white rice, lentils, cooked vegetables, those are all really good. So if you're not having stomach issues, then this may not apply to you. But if you're having stomach issues, that's definitely something to think about, because of course, if your body's trying to digest, that's a lot of energy being spent right before bed. Also, the advice to have a warm cup of milk before bed can be really nice. Of course, you can use a milk substitute if you don't drink dairy. And I just found this great recipe for a little chai, so actually I'll post it in the meetup group after this webinar. It can be great to just get to bed. So again, we want to think about calming the nervous system, and with the yoga practice, we're just going to do creating a morning and evening routine and thinking about your diet if you think that applies to you. All right, so we're just about ready to move into the yoga practice. Does anybody have any questions about anything we talked about so far? No? Okay, I'm going to give you a minute to put your questions. And then again, if you need to get a yoga mat, a pillow out, or anything, now's the time. Just going to see if you can see this. Great, and give me just one moment. So settle yourself in wherever you need to for your practice. And I will be back in just one moment. All right, sorry about that, I'm back. And feel free to put your questions as we're going along in the chat. I'll come up and check the chat every few minutes, so if you do have a question, feel free to put it in. All right, so come first to sit on your yoga mat, and if it's more comfortable, you can even sit on your pillow or cushion. I'm just in a comfortable cross-legged position. And you're gonna put your hands on your knees, your palms down, so we're gonna keep the energy inwards. Sitting up nice and tall. And just start by taking a few deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling through your nose if that's possible. If that's not possible, then through your mouth. So ideally we want to breathe through our nose, but more ideally, we want to breathe comfortably. So if you do have allergies or a cold or anything like that, don't worry about it. Just breathe through your mouth. And you may be closing your eyes as we start to take these deep breaths. I'm just starting to notice the rhythm of your breath now without trying to change it. Now placing one hand on your belly and seeing if you can breathe right down into that hand. So feeling the belly expand on the inhale and feeling it deflate on the exhale. And taking these nice deep belly breaths is really key to calming down the nervous system, which calms down the Vata dosha. So keeping these deep breaths with us through the practice is going to be the key to helping us relax and get to sleep. Now let's prepare to move into our first pose. So you're going to come on your mat on your knees, and you're going to bring the knees as wide as the mat and sit down on your heels. So first step, if sitting down on your heels feels uncomfortable, you can always place one of your pillows or cushions under your hips so you're sitting on the pillow. Step two, take your pillow or your second pillow, if you've used the first one to sit on, and you're going to place it between your legs. And then you're going to walk your hands out so that your torso comes to rest on the pillow. And you're going to turn your left ear down and rest your head on the pillow. So your whole body should be supported in this pose. And if you need to jump up to grab some more pillows or cushions, go ahead. We're going to stay in this pose for a few minutes. So your whole torso and your head should be supported. I'm just going to get some extra pillows to show you, but if you're comfortable in the pose, then just stay there, continuing with your breath. A blanket can also be a nice prop. Just lay down straight now with several. And now from your comfortable place, just completely release. Allow yourself to be supported by the ground and by the pillows, and closing your eyes. Well, it looks like we're frozen. Is it back now? Can you guys see me again? Okay. Hoping it is now unfrozen. Great. Okay, we are back. All right. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulty. Hopefully, we will be good from now on. So, just heading back to where we were. And all we're going to do right now is switch the side that your head was on. So, before we had our left ear down, now we're going to have the right ear down. And just after that little technical fuzz of having to come out of the zone, just take a couple of breaths here, a couple minutes here to just reconnect with the breathing and the calm that we started at the beginning of this practice. Now, slowly move your head back to center, opening your eyes. And walking the hands back up. So first pressing up the chest. And then walking the hands back, moving nice and slowly. Maybe keeping your eyes closed. Placing any props beside you for the moment. And coming to sit now with your legs in front of you and your knees bent. We're now going to move your pillow as many as you'd like to prop up on top of your knees. Then you're going to make a little nest for your head with your hands and just fold forwards. If this feels hard on the knees or it's tight on the hamstrings, you can just cross your legs. So just the important part is the forward fold. The forward fold, just like this passive forward fold, letting the spine rather than the head drop, that's really going to activate your relaxation response. And you can also, if you'd like, if it's a bit too much in the forward fold, you can use the edge of your bed or a chair. So really finding what works for your body and worrying less about how the pose might look. Continuing to inhale and exhale deep into the belly. And this pose can also be done, for example, if you wake up during the night or if you're in bed and you're tossing and turning, you can just sit up, throw some pillows on your lap, and do this pose right in bed. Take one more inhale and exhale. And on the next inhale, slowly rising back up to seated position. Coming back to the mat if you went to lean on a chair or on the bed. And now we're going to use a wall. So bring in your pillow with you if you need to move close to a wall. And I'm going to lay the pillow down just in front of the wall. Move the other props out of the way. I'm going to come now and to the side of the pillow, move my back to the pillow, lean back, and at the same time, swing my legs up. And then you can just kind of shuffle around and move the pillow if you need to. So the pillow's under your hips and your legs are up the wall, and they can be straight or they can be bent, whatever's more comfortable. Some people like to sit this pose in butterfly pose. All that really matters is that your legs are above your chest. Then you can place one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. Feeling the breath move under the hands, moving in and out of the body. And now we're going to slowly come out of the pose the same way we came in. So bending the knees down, maybe hugging them into your chest. And then rolling off the pillow. Slowly coming to sit up. And we're going to come into our last two poses, now lying on the back. So we're going to now lie down with the soles of the feet together. And if you've got two pillows, you can place one under each knee. Some people also really like to have a bit of pressure on your chest, so you can spread a blanket over yourself, or perhaps hug a pillow into your chest. Whatever it takes to get nice and cozy and comfortable. Letting the hands fall by your sides with the palms facing up. And closing your eyes. And now you can either stay in this pose for our final meditation, or you can move into Shavasana, corpse pose. Perhaps you want to slide one of the pillows under your knees, letting the legs stretch out and the feet fall to either side. Keeping the arms by your side with the palms facing up. Finding a comfortable place and closing the eyes. Just like in our first pose where we allowed the front side of the body to be supported by the pillows on the floor, now let's allow the back and the shoulders and the hips and the legs and the head to be supported by the floor and the pillow, trying to use no energy and no muscles to stay in this pose. And coming back to the breath now, we're going to count our breath so that we can extend the exhale. So first let's inhale together and exhale all the breath from the body. And now inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now continue on your own count. You can either exhale for 6 or for 7. And if you need to change the counts a little bit to breathe more comfortably, you can go ahead. We want to extend the exhales, but breathing should never ever feel like a struggle. You should never feel like you need to gasp for air. So continue on your own counting. And now just allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. And now slowly let's begin to move, stretching the arms overhead, pointing the toes, stretching out the whole body, making some circles with your wrists and your ankles. And then when you're ready, coming to roll onto one side. And then very slowly coming up to a seated position, moving any props out of the way. Bringing your hands into prayer, bringing them to your forehead for kind thoughts, to your mouth for kind words, and to your heart for kind feelings. Namaste, thank you for joining me in this practice. Well, thank you so much. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, or let me know how you're feeling right now, how you found the practice. And there's so much more to learn about sleep and yoga. I also recommend a yoga nidra practice, which is included in my online course, which is going to be, oh, my head's cut off, which is going to be running again in October. If anyone's interested in joining that, we have a whole week dedicated to sleep. Super, Brian. Very good. I'm glad that you enjoyed that. I hope you're going to sleep very well tonight. And hopefully this is something, as you notice, we only do a few poses, but we hold them for a long time. So hopefully this is something you can incorporate into your evening routine or your bedtime routine. And you can play around with the time that works for you. So I actually prefer to do this within an hour before bed, so we're a little early today, but for some people they prefer to do it in the evening, maybe around 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, after they come home from work, they have dinner, then they do this to kind of transition into the evening. So maybe play around. Oh, great. I'm so glad that you'll be able to put this into practice. And yeah, just let me know how it goes, Sylvia. I'd love to stay updated, and anyone else watching, on how you sleep. And as well, just keeping in mind that it's not a quick fix, so it's not you're gonna start to do this routine and in a week the insomnia is gonna be solved. But I really believe that if you continue to do this, and even if you're in bed having trouble sleeping, or if you wake up in the night, all those poses you can do from bed as well until you fall asleep again. And if you're consistent in your practice, I think that you'll start to find that slowly over a few months, your sleep will start to get better and better and better. So yeah, the link to my course is in the description below. And I mentioned that I was going to send out a link earlier via Meetup, so I'll do that. I've temporarily forgotten what it was. I have yoga brain, but I will rewatch this webinar and send out that link. So thank you so much for everyone that joined. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much for doing this practice. And I hope you guys all sleep very well tonight. I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments on meetup.com, whatever works for you. So thank you guys so much. And if you think of any questions later, feel free to email me. It's just Kayla@arogayoga.com. All right, thank you guys. Bye.